Could there be a color surrounding you right now that you are physically incapable of imagining? Not just seeing, imagining? Because scientists have proven there are colors your brain actively hides from you. Colors your eyes can technically detect, but that your brain intercepts and deletes before you're ever aware of them. They're called forbidden colors. And in the next couple of minutes, you're going to see one. I'm going to show you a simple trick that forces your visual system past its own limits, and for a few seconds, you'll perceive something that by every rule of human vision simply cannot exist. But to understand what you're seeing when it happens and why it should genuinely unsettle you, you need to understand something first. You're already mostly blind. Visible light, the entire rainbow, every shade you've ever seen occupies less than 0.01% of the electromagnetic spectrum. The rest is real, physical, hitting your body right now. Radio waves are passing through you as you watch this. Infrared is bouncing off every warm surface in your room. Ultraviolet is coming through your window. You're completely blind to all of it. But not all animals are. Bees navigate by ultraviolet patterns on flowers, patterns invisible to you. You and a bee can look at the exact same flower and see genuinely different things. Not a matter of perspective, a physically different image. Birds go further. Many species have a fourth type of color receptor that humans don't have at all. They're not seeing more of the same, they're operating in a different dimension of color that you have no access to. Some snakes go even further still. Pit vipers can detect infrared radiation, heat itself. To a pit viper, a warm mouse in total darkness isn't just visible, it glows. And then there's the mantis shrimp. 16 color receptors. Humans have 3. Scientists assumed this meant they saw an almost incomprehensible richness of color, and then they tested it, and the reality was even stranger. The mantis shrimp doesn't blend color signals the way humans do. It identifies colors almost mechanically, each receptor firing independently. It doesn't see more color than you. It experiences color in a way so fundamentally different that no human analogy can reach it. Same world, completely alien experience. Now here's the question that should be bothering you. If the mantis shrimp's experience of color is beyond your ability to imagine, what does that say about the limits of your own perception? Because the problem isn't just what's outside your range, it's what's inside your range that your brain is hiding from you. And that's where it gets weird. Your eyes have 3 types of color receptors, sensitive to red, green, and blue wavelengths. Every color you've ever seen is your brain mixing signals from those 3. But your brain doesn't just receive those signals, it runs them through a strict set of rules. And one rule that's above all others is that certain combinations are impossible. Red and green cancel each other out. There's no such thing as a reddish green. Blue and yellow cancel out. There's no such thing as a bluish yellow. Your brain treats these as errors and suppresses them before you're ever aware of them. This is called the opponent process. It's one of the most fundamental features of human vision, and in the 1980s, 2 researchers decided to break it. Hewitt Crane and Thomas Piantanida stabilized opponent colors directly on subjects' retinas, forcing the visual system to hold combinations it was designed to reject. What subjects reported has no name in any language. A red that was simultaneously green, not a brownish compromise, both fully at once. Colors that seethed without blending, perceptions so alien that some subjects couldn't find words. The most documented case is called Stygian blue, a blue that's darker than black. Black is the absence of light. Nothing can be darker than the absence of light, and yet people perceived exactly that. A blue with what felt like negative luminance, something pulling light inward rather than reflecting it. That's a forbidden color, and you're about to see one. You're going to need about 30 seconds and your full attention. Find the most saturated yellow on your screen. Crank the brightness up if you can. Stare directly at the center of it and don't let your eyes drift for a full 30 seconds. Keep going even when it feels like nothing is happening. Now, look at something white. There, you just saw it. That impossible, too heavy, wrong feeling blue. That is a forbidden color. Here's what happened. Your yellow sensitive cones exhausted themselves staring at the image. They're fatigued, firing weakly, but your brain still expects a full signal, so it overcorrects. It generates a response in the opponent channel. It manufactures blue from the absence of yellow. And because your yellow cones are suppressed, the resulting blue has no brightness signal behind it. It registers as darker than the background, darker than white, darker, your brain reports, than black. A color that physically cannot exist. Your brain just built it from nothing. And that is the thing that should stay with you. Because if your brain can manufacture a color, what else is it manufacturing? Everything you see right now, this screen, your hands, the room around you, is a reconstruction. Your brain takes raw signals, applies rules, fills in gaps, makes predictions, and hands you what it has decided is most likely to be real. Most of the time, the model is accurate enough. It keeps you alive. But the forbidden colors reveal the machinery. They show you a moment where your brain's model gets pushed past its own limits and generates something with no physical basis, something it invented on its own. The mantis shrimp has a different model. The bee has a different model. Every animal experiences a genuinely different version of reality, not because reality is different, but because the hardware filtering it is. And somewhere out there, colors are hitting your eyes right now that your brain is quietly discarding. Wavelengths that fall between your receptors' sensitivities, combinations your opponent process rejects before they reach consciousness. You will never see them. You can't even imagine them. And here's the part that makes this more than just a cool science fact. You assume reality looks like what you see. You can't help it. It's all you've ever had access to. But the forbidden colors crack that assumption open. They show you, briefly and strangely, that what your brain shows you and what actually exists are not the same thing. The gap between them is real, and it's bigger than you think. The universe isn't hiding these colors from you. Your brain is. It has been making these decisions, what you're allowed to see, what gets deleted, what gets invented, your entire life, without ever asking you. The forbidden colors are just the moment where the editing becomes visible. And once you've seen that, once you know the model isn't the same as reality, you start wondering what else is on the cutting room floor. That gap between what exists and what we're allowed to perceive, that's the blind spot. And it's bigger than any of us can actually see.